Today, I thought it'd be fun to share some random hypotheses I've been thinking about lately. If you're into topics like aliens, government conspiracies, or weird science facts, this video might just be for you, so grab a cozy drink and stick around until the end. Let's dive right in. Over the years, I've been reading a lot of books about plants and nature, and I've stumbled upon some fascinating plant facts. Seriously, stuff that blew my mind. One in particular that I want to share with you today is this. Some trees produce pollen that actually contains moving sperm cells. Yeah, moving sperm cells. When I first read about this, I had to pause for a moment because, what? But it kind of makes sense when you think about the tree of life and how all living things share a common ancestor. But still, the idea of trees having sperm is kind of wild, right? Here's where my hypothesis comes in. Have you ever noticed how in certain seasons, spring and fall specifically, when you're out in the forest, there's this distinct smell in the air, and sometimes it smells oddly similar to, semen? Am I even allowed to say that? Whatever, we're all adults here. So my theory is this: during these seasons, trees are in their reproductive phase, releasing pollen, and since some of that pollen works similarly to human sperm cells, maybe, just maybe, that's why the smell feels weirdly familiar. But honestly, I could be totally off here, so if you have any other theories about why the forest smells like that, please drop a comment. I'm just genuinely curious and maybe a little desperate to hear what y'all think. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about something we all probably have varying degrees of awareness about: the effect of plastics on our health. Now, most of us know that plastic materials release environmental hormones which can disrupt our endocrine system. But here's something I recently learned that shocked me. Even just squeezing a plastic water bottle can cause microplastics to leach into the water. I had no idea. When I worked as a nurse in an OB/GYN clinic for nearly 2 years before moving to a different department, I learned a lot about how these environmental hormones impact the body. For instance, they can mimic female reproductive hormones, throwing our systems completely off balance. And the scary part, research suggests they may be linked to diseases like breast cancer and other hormonal disorders. Okay, I know that sounds terrifying, but let's take a moment to think about how bizarre this really is. These random hormones from plastics are mimicking one of the most important hormones our bodies produce. It's almost too strange to believe. And here's where my mind spirals into wild territory. What if this was orchestrated? What if plastics were designed on purpose to release these bad hormones? Could it be some sort of plant to interfere with human fertility and ultimately decrease the population? I know it sounds like a wild conspiracy theory, but it's fascinating to think about. Speaking of fascinating, let me mention a book I think everyone should read: The Cosmic Serpent. In this book, the author talks about how when observing human cell division, the process appears so intricate and coordinated. It's like watching a waltz. The author then raises a provocative question: how could all of this have occurred purely through evolutionary processes? Now, even though I've always considered myself an evolution theory believer, but I have to admit that argument is incredibly compelling. It makes you wonder about the bigger picture. The author goes a step further, suggesting there might be a hidden intelligence within nature, something we're only just beginning to grasp. And here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. He proposes that our cells might not even be native to Earth. What if they came from elsewhere in the universe, formed some kind of agreement with existing organisms here, and boom, evolution as we know, it took off. This book is an absolute eye-opener. It will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about life. Those are thoughts I've been holding on to for a while, and it feels so good to finally say them out loud. Now I'm even more excited to hear what you all think. If you have your own hypothesis about anything, no matter how wild or random, make sure to share them in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!